What's up? And welcome back to another live unboxing with the Asus Strix G18. This is the RTX 4080 edition. We're going to kind of talk about this laptop. We're going to go through all the specs of the laptop. We're going to unbox it. We're going to take the bottom off. We're going to do some initial basic tests with like Cinebench and Timespy. And I might even load up a game to be able to do some gameplay in this live unboxing at the end as well. So there'll be timestamps along the bottom of the video if you want to skip around to further points in the video. But other than that, I'm going to be trying to answer as many questions as possible on this laptop in this live stream. So let's try to keep the questions primarily directed at the Strix G18 variant, and we're going to talk about like what makes this different from the Scar 18, what the price is, where you can buy it, where I bought mine. And yeah, I'm really excited about this because this is arguably the best bang for the buck RTX 4000 series laptop that we have so far. There's going to be even cheaper, better bang for the buck laptops later, like the 4070, 4060, or maybe 4050 series, but out of the 4080 and 4090 laptops, this is probably the best deal out there right now, though there is also the Aorus 17H that has an RTX 4080, I think for like $2,200 maybe $2,300. So there's a little bit of competition for this guy now. I really love this. I love to see the competition. So I'm giving people a chance to hop in. Wow, we got 30 people on the live stream already. This is awesome, like a minute in. So again, try to keep the questions primarily pertinent to the Strix G18 in this live stream, but I will answer some other questions here and there. So right before we actually start unboxing this bad boy, I want to also mention, if you haven't seen, there is a laptop spreadsheet that I have spent many hours working on, and I've even hired a couple of guys to help me out. So shout out to Kaylin and Ellie, who are helping me manage the list and keep these statuses up to date every single day. So this list allows you to see my current ratings based on what we know about the laptops. As we get more information here, especially starting like right now, I'm going to be like adding tons more data to the list. This is going to be benchmark data like Timespy, Cinebench, and yes, even game benchmarks will be on this list. Now, there is a mini review, which is like a summary of me talking about the laptop, the pros and cons of the laptop. The most important thing about this list that you need to know about is the expand button. You can click this and you can get pictures of the laptop along with a summary here and then my ratings of that laptop. And depending on which laptop it is, there's even hands-on videos that you can check out right here on the page that go back to my YouTube page. And I might be adding in other YouTubers' reviews when they give me permission here, and data from other reviewers if they give me permission to use the data. But there are links to where you can buy this. So the place that I bought the best, this Strix G18 is right here at Best Buy. And it came same day shipping. They shipped it like last night at midnight and it came this morning like an hour or two ago, like about 40 minutes ago. I've been prepping to the live stream ever since this thing came in. I've been prepping before that too, but anyway, so let's talk about the specs on this Strix G18. This has got an i9-13980HX. That is the top of the line processor, the best that money can buy this year. And that is, I can't wait to test it out because this is going to be one of the most powerful laptops for CPU performance that money can buy, especially at the price point that it's at. It's like maybe I don't know if it's the best bang for the buck CPU price per dollar, but it's probably pretty dang close to that. And then for the GPU, we've got an RTX 4080 with up to 175 watts. 16 gigs of DDR5, I believe it's 4800 megahertz RAM, a 1 terabyte SSD, and a QHD 240 hertz 500 nits display. Some of the initial tests have revealed that it's about a 450 nits display according to the testing meter. So that's one of the questions I have today. What kind of nits brightness are we going to get on this display? I do have a screen checker behind me, so we'll be able to check the nits brightness as well as the color gamut on the display. Now on this sheet, I want to also point out that I have added a new column called Total Volume. This is something that lets users like yourself sort the entire laptop list based on the volume, the size. Total volume represents the square inch volume or the cubic volume of the laptop itself. And so like you can see the smallest laptop this year is the Flow Z13, which is like the tablet. And the biggest laptop this year is the Alienware M18. So pretty interesting stuff. The GT77 is right there at number 3. The Aorus 17H. This is the other cheaper laptop that I was talking about, coming in at $22.99 for an RTX 4080, but it's only 150 watts. So I don't know. Anyway, so let's go ahead and get to the unboxing part of this thing. All right. So I see Shrin that says, how are the speakers? We don't know yet because we haven't fully unboxed it yet. So will this come with a 4060 or a Ryzen? I'm not sure. All of the GPU configs that it's going to come up with, I know that it goes up to a 4080. It probably will go all the way down to the 4050 is my guess. So if you guys are enjoying the live stream so far, smack that like button and let YouTube know that this live stream is worth watching. Okay, let me grab the scissors and let's begin taking off the tape. Well, let's take a look at the outside of the outside real quick. So we just have some serial numbers and bars there, showing the model, and I guess you probably would tell your Asus support. This is your like serial number for your laptop. That should also be on the bottom of your laptop. So if you need warranty support and you don't have the box anymore, you don't need the box. On the bottom in the back over here, it says G814, and then it's an 18-inch QHD bend WV, 12 gigs of VRAM, Intel i9-13980HX, 1 terabyte PCIe Gen 4 SSD, 2 times 8 gig DDR5 RAM, Wi-Fi 6E, and then it shows some stuff about the ports and Windows 11. So that's what's basically on the box. And then we have like this nice styling on the front. Here we go. So I have a secondary camera angle, which I will load up when we need it here soon. Okay, so we have a box within a box. Ooh. Oh, okay, so there's the laptop right there. So it's a box that nestles the laptop. Got a nice plastic cover. I believe it's a metal top lid, which it almost always is on these Strix laptops. So this is kind of cool. Which way am I supposed to open this? I guess this red thing comes down, so this goes down, and then you can pick up the laptop. Alright, and then underneath here, we have our power brick and power cable, and that's a pretty reasonable sized power brick. It's not too big. It is a 330 watt power brick, so that is really a high powered power brick, which is you're gonna need that for this powerful of a laptop. Anything else in here? So we have our gaming notebook. This just has some really basic stuff in it. I'm not sure if you're gonna be able to really see that very well, but there you go. I mean, it's basically a guide to the ports on the laptop and indicator lights. It just says status indicators. Interesting, but it points out where all the ports are, which is cool. And there's that. Then we got warranty card. All right, so our warranty card, let's see if it gives us any general terms for how long the warranty is. Says warranty is only applied if the product was newly manufactured on the date of the purchase or sold as not sold as used, refurbished, or manufacturing. So this is not a transferable warranty. It's only to the original buyer of the laptop. It's according to this at least. Asus will not restore or transfer data or software in the storage media. So if you send this laptop in for repair, you'll lose any data that's on it, which makes sense. It's pretty normal. Their display panel defect policy. Warranty service will be provided if you have 3 bright pixels or 5 dark pixels or 8 bright pixels in total, or 2 adjacent bright pixels or 2 adjacent dark pixels. So you need to have multiple bad pixels in order to get your display replaced. And this is one of the reasons why it's kind of nice buying from Best Buy, because I can just take it back to Best Buy if I have any of those display issues with this laptop right here. So usually for pixels, you'll notice them almost immediately, but sometimes, you know, bad pixels will just show up later on too. So that can be a bummer, you know. All right, so this is just another quick guide saying how to plug in. Can it focus? There we go. Explaining how to plug in the laptop. And so let's go ahead and take the plastic off this bad boy now. All right. Well, I do like that box. It's a good boxing experience. You know, it's not too complicated. It's simplistic. It's got decent design. I kind of liked how it used to be though, where you would lift the top of the box up and the laptop would like elevate up towards you in the past Asus boxes. But this box is a little bit smaller, probably cheaper to ship, and this is a bigger laptop too than ever before. So, all right. So this is the power cable. It's full arm span width length, so that's about 6 feet long approximately. Maybe 5 feet long. I don't know about that. 5 to 6 feet long. And then this cable is not as long, about 4 feet long for the power adapter to laptop connection. Still pretty long though. That's going to give you a good amount of reach. I kind of wish this was another foot longer, but that's not a big deal. All right, so let's take the plastic off of this guy. Oh yeah. Okay. I always love taking plastic off of brand new electronics. It is like very satisfying to me. All right. Power plugged in. And now we gotta get this plugged into my adapter down here. All right. Let me rearrange stuff on my desk. Very nice. All right. Let me go ahead and tilt. Should I tilt this down? I think we're just going to switch to this third view. And we got to make this a lot smaller. There we go. All right. Oh, let's put me in the bottom right corner. Yeah. All right. So you can see my current laptop, the Legion 7, it's going to get replaced this year because the power gap, performance gap is big enough, in my opinion, that it's going to be worthwhile upgrading this year. So are you going to pop open the laptop itself, or are you going to show off, just showing off the laptop today? Now, I am going to be taking the bottom off of the laptop, if at all possible. I want to see how Asus has changed up their... I want to see how Asus has changed up their internal screw design. So we might even start with that. Woo. Okay, taking the plastic off again. Exciting. All right. Dum, shum. There it is. Wow. Okay. Interesting design. So I like the design along the bottom. It's got like a interesting texture. You can see that, right? Let me raise the camera up just a little bit better. Oop. There we go. Sorry about that. Okay. All right. So there you can see the design. We got all the serial number information right here. The intakes, I feel like there's not as many holes that's ideal, for intakes. I don't know. That's just my initial impression of the bottom. Oh, okay. We're lagging, guys. We'll stop recording. Let's see. Let me know. Is that smoother now? That should be smoother. I went ahead and paused it. I paused my recording because I was recording it at the same time on my local laptop. It's a little higher quality that way. But it's best to, okay, good. Because I was doing both. Apparently the Legion 7i doesn't like it when I do both at the same time, live streaming and recording at the same time. Though it should be able to do that. I probably just got to modify the settings. All right. So we're not going to worry about plugging in the laptop just yet. Let's try to take the bottom off, just right at the beginning. All right? So before we even try turning this bad boy on, let's take the bottom off. All right. Let me go ahead and raise the camera up a little bit higher. I might have to change up the angle here. We'll see. All right. So this is the iFixit toolkit. It has all kinds of tools, screwdriver sizes, and spuger tools for taking this off. There should be a link in the description to this kit if you need a kit. This one's more expensive. There's definitely going to be some cheaper kits out there, but this one's a really high quality kit that has lots of options to help you get any laptop open. So what's the price of this laptop? This laptop costs $24.99. And if you're wondering about the price of all the different laptops this year, there's a link in the description to my 2023 gaming laptop list that has every single price of all of the new laptops that are currently up for sale. And there's also links on where you can buy them from all of the online stores that I can basically easily find/get onto the list that are affiliated. Now, I've hired some guys to help me manage that list, which is why I'm only going to put affiliated links on there, except for brand store links. I'm also putting brand store links even if they're not affiliated. So anyway, I got to pay those guys' salaries this year. All right, so God laptops are so expensive now. So I keep hearing that, and I think the mid-range has gotten a little more expensive. A couple years ago, the RTX 3070 version of the Strix G18 was only $17.99, and this one's now $24.99. But the main thing I would disagree on the pricing discussion here is that the highest end laptops like the MSI GT77 was priced at $45.99 for the highest version of, for the RTX 4090 with only 64 gigs. But the primary thing is that 6 years ago, I bought an MSI GT72 for $4,600 6 years ago. So with inflation, the laptops have actually gotten cheaper over 6 years, not more expensive. So I don't know, at least the ultra high-end ones, they've always been like $5,000. I don't know why people are just now noticing. I mean, I've been a high-end laptop buyer for many years, and I've spent $4,000+ laptops. I've spent more than $4,000 on probably 10 different laptops over the last 12 years. I don't know. I just don't know why people haven't noticed until now. Like, I think it's just because of the economy and people being more money conscious right now. That's my theory, at least. Okay, so I believe this screw in the bottom right is a pop-up screw. Let me just verify that. I'm trying to unscrew it. That means a pop-up screw means it doesn't come out. Okay, so let me show you what I mean. So let me pull the laptop up. Can you guys see that edge right there? I don't think you can. Let me zoom it out just a little bit. There we go, maybe. There we go. Okay, now I'm gonna hold it up higher. There we go. So this pop-up screw causes a separation to occur between the bottom panel and the upper panel, which makes it much easier to remove the bottom of the laptop. So I really like that Asus does this on their laptops. They've been doing it on the Strix line now for several years. So let's go ahead and get this thing popped up. So using a spuger tool now to gently pry the laptop up all the way around. And let me zoom this guy back out so you can see what I'm doing. Do you lose the warranty if you open the laptop up? No, you do not lose the warranty if you open the laptop up. You don't lose the warranty even if you change components on the laptop itself. You only lose the warranty if you damage the laptop. And you can definitely do that. You can definitely damage the laptop. So don't think that you can't damage the laptop and then send it in and get a warranty fix. If the manufacturer believes you damaged the laptop because of some mistake you did, don't expect to get them to fix it for you. But at the same time, you should be able to get in here and modify, the RAM, swap the SSDs around, and not have to pay anything for it. So I'm having a little hard time getting these transition from the ribbon cable or from the rainbow lights over to the main chassis to pop up. So I need a better angle to pry this. And actually, I'm going to use this plastic like guitar pick. Works really well sometimes, and these really narrow plastic areas. And then when you need a little more power, switching back to this one helps a lot. So I kind of switch back and forth between these two tools pretty often when taking bottoms of these laptops off. So I could probably just pull this sucker off at this point, but I tend to always try to go all the way around the laptop, popping it up, because you don't want to break any of these plastic latches off entirely if you're too rough with it or do the wrong angle. All right. So, yes, there is no more ribbon cable. Just as Asus claimed, I didn't really doubt them necessarily, but there is no more ribbon cable on the inside, which is really, really nice. Okay. I will be showing thermals and noise in my full review of this laptop as well. All right. So this is the Strix G18. Wow, there's so much space around the battery. I'm really surprised, actually, how much space there is. Like, it's an enormous gap around the battery. Now, let me see if I can reposition this camera to give you an even better view of the internals here. All right, so there's the internals. What an interesting thermal design from Asus this year. I'm gonna grab the light, shine it on here so you can see a little better. We've got these heat pipes that go over the VRMs. We've got 3 to the CPU over here. We got GPU. We've got this extra fan that literally is designed to blow air out right here. It sucks air in from the keyboard and blows it right across the GPU and right out the back. It doesn't even have any heat pipes attached to this fan. It's just like a general body air movement fan. And I'm sure it's going to help cool these heat pipes down. I've just never seen a brand implement a third fan like this in any laptop design that I'm aware of. So, pretty interesting. Okay, so where are all of the components? It looks like we have both of the DDR5 4800 megahertz RAM right here. And then we've got our 90 watt hour battery right here. We've got our first M.2 PCIe Gen 4 slot here. And I believe the second one is right over here. It's got a bit of a, it's kind of, this cover is glued down. Not glued, but it's like sticky. So I gotta be careful here. Okay. So there is the other M.2 slot right here with the screw that goes in, so you would lay it right across right there. Our Wi-Fi is right here. Now this has liquid metal conductonaut on the GPU. I can't remember if it's on the CPU as well. I think it is on both in this unit. I have to double check to make sure. This is probably the display cable attachment right here. And then on the fan exhaust, we've got fan exhaust across the entire rear of the laptop, but you can see the actual fan areas that it goes out mainly is right here, right here, right here, and right here. So there are 4 main areas that it goes out, but it also dissipates with this general fan out the middle of the back too, which is, it's just such an interesting thermal design from Asus. I don't know. We'll have to see how it actually performs in temperatures. I think this is going to be a great performer. Let's find out. So let's get the top back on there and do this. So any other questions here about the bottom components? Yeah, I don't know. I feel like they should have been able to put in a bigger battery. That might be one of my only criticisms from what I'm seeing here. Is like, why didn't they include a bigger battery? Because they could have, right? You see how much, we can all see how much space there is. Like, they could have put a 100 watt hour battery here almost for sure. So that's my initial criticism of the initial layout. And I feel like they might have even been able to fit in an extra M.2 slot in here as well. Oh, by the way, and the two speakers are located on the left and the right here and right here. There might be some upwards firing speakers as well, but these are pretty big on the speaker size, so hopefully they sound really good. How much did this cost, please? It was $24.99. So now we're going to put the top, screw the top back in. So first thing you do when you're putting the top in, you want to pop the actual screws back in. Kind of, I try to do it all around, but you want to make sure that you get the pop-up screw here fully screwed down. That's one of the first screws you put in. Because otherwise, I've had issues where the chassis don't want to pop back together fully. Okay. Beautiful. All right. Now we're going to start with the left one. I usually do it in opposite corner technique, but at least that's what you're probably supposed to do. I don't think it matters that much with laptops. Awesome, glad you got it today. Yeah, me too, man. That would have sucked to have it be delayed. I also got an XMG Neo 17 in the mail as well. But unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to do full benchmarks on that one. I can only do the unboxing and no actual testing on it because they're revising it and then they're going to send me a new one. So I think they're making some final adjustments, and mine was a pre-production unit. So basically they're recalling all the pre-production units to make sure that, not recalling, but having the reviewers not test them fully, and they're going to send them actual production units instead. And I got to say, I'm really happy that XMG did that. It shows that they're committed to delivering a high quality product. So kudos on them. Because not all laptop companies are willing to recall a product or delay a product because they found a defect in it or it's not quite performing up to spec. So, so yeah, I'm impressed with that. I would have loved it for them to fully deliver it on time and everything too, but I don't know. I love that a company stands by their product, right? Okay, so that's the bottom. That's the internals. This thing feels solid. Like, it feels like it's built like a tank to me. Like this metal is high quality plastic. Sorry, the metal is high quality. The plastic feels very rigid, strong. I'm very curious to see how this bad boy performs. Let's turn it on. Okay. So it comes with a nice keyboard cover. And let me get this set up correctly. Wow, this thing is a huge display. All right, so let's see here. I'm gonna try powering it on. I probably need to plug the power adapter in first. Some of these laptops won't turn on until you plug the power adapter in. To do that, I'm gonna need to put away my tools here. Beautiful. All right. So power adapter plug is on the left side. Need to plug the bottom, the actual power adapter in. Over here. Voila. We should have power now. Showing power. Ooh, that's a cool animation. It's the same Strix animation that plays across. Now we've got our rainbow key lights that are coming on. The backlight is bright enough that I can clearly see it, even in this fairly well lit room. The one thing I will say though, is that I don't think it's quite as bright as the Scar series. At least it used to be. I'm not sure if it is. Does the motherboard support 5600 megahertz? I don't know. Let me ask Asus. Maybe. I wouldn't be surprised if it did. I don't know if I'll be able to get the answer to that question right away, but let me ask. Hey. Does the Strix G18 memory support 5600 upgrading to DDR5 user? Okay, so I've asked Asus. We'll see if they let us know by the end of this. Find out. So, interesting startup phase. Looks like it did a reboot. I don't know. We're not getting anything on the display yet. There it is. Okay, starting to worry me a little bit. I was like, uh-oh, I hope we don't have another dead laptop. I did a live unboxing of the Acer Predator Helios 300 a month ago, and that laptop was dead on arrival. It would not turn on, like the display would not come on at all. So I'm really glad this one's coming on. Can you buy these crazy laptops now? Yes, Marimo. You can buy these laptops. While this thing's turning on, let me point out this list because I think a lot of you guys haven't seen this yet. This is a list of all of the available RTX 4000 series laptops that you can buy. And it has a ton of data on here, from ratings to order status, whether the laptops are in stock or not, and then multiple links on some of these laptops on different stores where you can buy them. And we're updating this every day, including whether or not they're in stock. So
to set up your device,
go check that
screen
out.
Reader, turn on narrator by pressing Windows plus Control plus Enter.
Okay,
for more
so
accessibility feetures, press Windows plus U or select the accessibility icon in the bottom corner.
Mute. Thank you. Oh, Cortana, please be quiet. Okay, so the backlight on the keyboard did just get a little bit brighter. There are 1, 2, 3. Yeah, there are 3 levels of keyboard backlight brightness. Let's see if the display is that maximum brightness. The display could also get a little bit brighter, I think. Let me go ahead and... Wow! So on the camera, it is very... The screen is so bright you can barely see the keyboard. This glass touchpad feels really, really nice. No, we don't need to add a second keyboard layout. All right, so now we're going to switch my camera angle to this one so that I can type in my Wi-Fi data. Dun dun dun, do 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 do. And there is I didn't mention it, there's a link to that laptop list in the video description down below. And some of those links there are affiliated links. And if you do use them, they do help support me as a creator. No pressure to use them, no pressure to buy, as always, but I try to provide as many options for you guys to support me without having to actually put money out of your wallet or donate. So this is a way for you to support me and my team as a creator without having to actually dig money directly out of your wallet. You don't even really realize or recognize that you're supporting me, and you still help support me. So I really appreciate every one of you guys that use those links and support me. It really does mean a lot. So thank you very much. All right, so we're ready to name this beast. What should we name it? Chat. I want to hear some good names. We're gonna name it from chat. Got a little sunburn going on. That's right. Yeah, like you can tell, right? Like on my face. Because the screen's so bright. Thunder thighs. I like that one. Strix mixed Strix face. Okay, that one's the winner. All right, that's the winner. Strix mixed Strix face. Oh, that's too long. We gotta pick a different one. Strix. Oh my god. All right, we're just gonna go with Thunder thighs because the Strix mixed Strix face one was just too long. So. Too Strixy. All right. So let me grab my benchmark software and drivers SSD here. We're gonna need that. Now, for ports, I haven't gone over the ports yet. Let's do that while we're restarting. On the right side, we have 2 USB-As. And let me pull a light down over here so you can see these a little better. So we have 2 USB-As. These are the faster 3.2 Gen 2, I believe that they're called. So they're going to be able to support a good amount of bandwidth. And then on the right side over here, we have the power adapter, 2.5 gigabit Ethernet, HDMI 2.1, a Thunderbolt 4, and then a USB-C with power delivery, and then we have our headset port. And then, as you guys know, if you watched any of my other videos, we've got no ports on the back is all. It's all just thermal exhaust. So that's an interesting aspect of this laptop is there's no ports on the back, and that's a big part of how they upgraded the thermal performance of this machine this year, because the thermal performance on the Strix G18 should be basically top of the line. So I'm gonna have to put some login information in here. I might have to verify. Let me get that ready. I'll have to do that soon. There we go. And we're going to create a pin real quick. Cool. Dun 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 dun. And I think we can show this again. I basically say no to all of these privacy things, like taking all of my data and using it for advertising. Don't really appreciate Microsoft doing that anyway. So we'll not sign up for that. We'll skip that. We'll skip that. We'll just decline that and that. All right. We're getting close. We still have another 20 menu items to click before we can actually use the laptop. Like, what the hell? Windows, come on. You're crazy. Why are there so many setup options? It's ridiculous. Was honestly expecting a better port selection. I was hoping maybe a full-size SD card reader and more Type A's. I totally agree with you. Actually, I think that the port selection, especially for an 18-inch laptop, is a bit lacking. On my sheet, it's one of the few things that I've got on this machine it's docked quite a bit. I think it's like no full-size SD card slot, and the fact that there's not at least 5 total USB A's or C's combined. I think it's a downside. So you'll probably end up using something like a Thunderbolt dock or a USB-C dock to expand your ports. Is probably what a lot of people are going to do with this laptop. So worst part about Windows is the setup part and the updates. Yeah, especially when you've got your laptop full of stuff like I do. Like I'll have like Photoshop open, I'll have a video edit running, I'll have a script all written up in Word, and then Windows Update will reset my machine overnight. When I didn't give it permission, it was just like asleep. It like woke itself up, did the update, and then suddenly I've lost like my script. I have to recover files. Like it happens all the time. So it makes me want to use applications that are constantly auto-saving everything I do. Yeah. Okay, we're finally into Windows. Let's go ahead and continue on. All right, so if you want to use a USB-A, you have to plug it in on the right side. So that's what we got going on right here. I guess it's upside down. I guess it's not upside down. There it is. Okay. All right. Check the speakers. Let's check the speakers out. That's an easy one. All right. So, oh my gosh. There's so many things you have to confirm. Okay. All right. YouTube. There we go. Wow, this display is awesome, right? I mean, you guys can see how awesome this display is. Like, it is such a high quality display. And before we move on to the sound, I also want to not forget to do a flex test detail all around the laptop. And let's see how flexy this laptop is, right? Let me see if I can get this going here. Oh yeah, I love the RGB. I love that the RGB wraps around the sides. That is awesome. The keyboard, I do feel like the keyboard RGB backlight could be brighter, but especially in a dark environment, the keyboard's going to look really, really great. It's just brighter environments, it's not going to be quite as good. All right, so flex tests around the keyboard. Let's go. So right here, no flex. Whoa, okay. We let a little creak sound, but I think the plastic was just settling together. All right. So a little bit of flex as we get around to the touchpad. Basically no flex. Okay, so there's a little more flex right here in the middle way, but like no flexes near the corners. Kind of near the middle of the machine, there's a little bit more flex. And then as we go around to the far side, a little more flex, not too much, but again, at the top now, really solid, really, really rigid. A bit more flex over here at the top middle area. Again, you're not gonna really touch those areas, but I just like having a really rigid chassis because it like makes it feel really well built. And this overall is very non-flexy. It's like, I give it, only dock it a little bit for having a little bit of flex. Let's check about the keyboard area, because that's also very important, because that's where you're actually gonna press down. So I'm gonna do a light amount of pressure first, and then I'll do a little heavier pressure. So like a really heavy key press type of pressure. Like barely any flex with a light key press, but there is some. And if I do a heavy key press, there's definitely a little bit of flex. So that's probably one of the main downsides of this chassis against something maybe like the Razor Blade series or whatever. You know, like the Razor Blade series is going to have the least amount of flex being a unibody aluminum chassis. So overall, really, really love that. Let's check the screen torque. So this is like how flexy the screen itself is. And let's see the hinges. So the hinges, if you're holding it partially the way down, if you get it too low, the screen hinges won't hold up. It's an 18-inch display. I wouldn't expect it to hold up too well. The hinges are all right. I think the hinge design themselves here are good. I like this hinge design. The bigger thing is you want it to be really stiff, you know? But generally speaking, I wouldn't expect hinges to be too crazy, right? Oh, I've got to switch the direction of the touchpad scroll. It is backwards. It's always backwards. I need down means down. Okay, all right. We're going to go on to our speaker test now. Dun dun dun. You guys ready? I'm gonna put my mic right next to the speakers. You guys will be able to hear. I'll put the mic right where I am. So this is the song that I always use in all of my audio tests. Ooh, that sounds pretty nice. All right, so let me get back. I'm going to take the mic with me here. And we're going to put this right where the user would be when they're listening to music. Okay, so the speakers I would say are great mids, decent highs. There's some breakup in the highs, and the lows are not as punchy as I would like, but there is some bass. That's my initial analysis of it. It's pretty good though. I think it's above average for a gaming laptop. The Strix speakers have always been above average, but these ones will get the job done, especially for the price point. I think there are better speakers out there, but you probably have to pay a good chunk more money for them. Okay. Yeah, say no. Well, it's kind of hard maybe for you to pick up the lows. I don't know on this kind of mic, but I would say that they were pretty good. I give them like a 7.5 to 8 range based on first impressions, but I'll want to do more testing, and I want to do my sound testing with my decibel meter as well, so I get a little more detailed testing that way. All right, let's check out the webcam. Okay, here we go. Can you guys see that? Okay, let me zoom in. All right, so that's the webcam. It's not the brightest environment in here. Let me record a video. Okay, so this is me testing the webcam out. How does it look? How does it sound? How's the onboard audio sound? I'm going to check this out in a little more detail. But in general, I would say the image quality is okay if it's a small image, like you're like using a little window, but you try to blow this thing up. Like right here, it looks good. Looks good, nice detail. But you can tell this is not a super highly detailed camera. If you're trying to do full screen video recording like I do in my review videos, you're going to want a better camera for sure. Okay. Yeah, I believe it's a 720p webcam. It's not an amazing webcam. It'll work in a pinch. That's what I'll say about that. All right, so let me start copying over some of the information here. I want to also open this up. I want to get Armory Crate going, and let me go ahead and we need to copy our benchmark files. So Cinebench R23. We're going to need that guy. We're going to want... We're going to want HW info. We're going to want our display test. And then we're also going to want our Steam setup. Which we're just going to get that going right now. We're going to run Timespy and Cinebench R23 on this stream. And then I also want to play one game. I was thinking of playing Hogwarts Legacy. I don't know if that sounds interesting to you guys for the game we play, but I will load up either God of War, Hogwarts Legacy, or Elden Ring. Pick between those three games, guys. Let me chat. Let me know. But it just takes so long to download these games because they're huge. So it'll take like 15 minutes to download the game. Cyberpunk. That could also be an option. A lot of people like looking at Cyberpunk, but I've seen a lot of videos talking about Cyberpunk already. I kind of was hoping to try something different. But we could also do Dead Space. I did get Dead Space for my... I did get Dead Space for my review testing. Or did I? I think I actually failed on Dead Space on the purchase because I had bought too many games. I have to redo the buy, but that's not too big of a problem. But I'm really looking forward to trying to do Hogwarts because that just came out like yesterday. And it's not technically it's not out, but I have access to it. So that's the one I was thinking of doing. And I was playing that last night. It's a freaking cool, fun game. I'm like 2 hours into it, 3 hours into it, and unfortunately, ray tracing. If you turn ray tracing on, it just instantly crashes the game. So we can't do any ray tracing testing with Hogwarts if we did Hogwarts. But yeah, do CS:GO. I mean, we already know what CS:GO. CS:GO is going to be so easy to run. So I'm curious. Between the three that I saw, one says Elden Ring. I'm seeing Hogwarts. I'm seeing do Cyberpunk. I'm seeing several Cyberpunks, even though I didn't even mention Cyberpunk. Timespy is the best game. Well, we are doing Timespy, so let me start downloading that. We're going to do Cinebench and R23 first. Okay, so those are going to be the first ones we're going to do. But before that, I want to also make sure that our Armory crate is properly set up and that we're in turbo mode. Turbo mode is the highest performance gaming mode in some games, but then other games it's like it's weird. So I don't know. All right, so going for updates. Is the updates over in here? Update center. There we go. Check for updates. We're checking for updates. Will the stream be available later? Yes. Yes, the stream will be available later. I'm also probably going to try to edit the stream down into a smaller format and put it as a public video. We'll see. But you'll miss out on details if you don't watch the full thing. But what Wi-Fi card does this laptop use? This laptop uses a Wi-Fi 6E. Let's check it out. I didn't look at the detailed properties. HW Info can pull it up for us if we need to. I'm not sure if we can look it up in here or not. It's a Wi-Fi 6E AX211 Intel. So an Intel AX211 for the Wi-Fi 6E. So we're going to hit update all. We're updating our drivers right now. Will the Volt Green version be available soon? I did not find it for pre-order. I don't know what the Volt Green version is. Very curious about that right now. What is the Volt Green Strix G18? Volt Green Strix G18. Oh, is that this color where it's kind of greenish instead of... Because this one does not have a light up logo and it doesn't have any RGB on the back. So maybe that's what you're talking about. That's pretty cool. I didn't realize that there was two different versions. I don't know. That's because they didn't have the two different versions at CES. That's good to know. I'll have to keep an eye out for any listings of the Volt Green version, and I'll let you know. And I'll try to update the list to have that data as soon as I can. I'm going to go ahead and reposition the camera now for optimal viewing of this display. It's going to be harder to fit this display, the whole display in, because I need a wider angle lens probably. No, I don't. Okay, good. I was afraid I was going to need a wider angle lens. Let's turn off UAC so that stops popping up. All right. And just like that. That's all looking really good. I'm going to grab my wireless mouse. And I'm going to plug that into the Strix here. Do you think the G16 performance is going to be equivalent? I think it's going to be very, very close. According to everything Asus has said, it's supposed to be the same. But I think we might have small differences in performance, maybe like a few more watts being able to go through like the GPU under a continuous stress load, but the typical user probably won't be able to tell the difference without technical benchmark testing, is my current guess. So we'll have to see. In summary, so in short, most likely it should be the same, but it may not be. We need to test it just to make sure. We're going to update the last two things. Probably don't need to do this, but better to have up-to-date drivers when possible for everything, especially sound drivers. Those can mess things up. Is the flashing lights annoying near the monitor, such as reading files like thingies, the reflection on the monitor? Yeah, I believe you're talking about these guys right here, right? These status lights. They're not very bright. I don't think I would notice them under typical usage. But I can imagine if you were like watching a movie in bed with the laptop on your lap or on your chest or something, it might be a little distracting. I hope there's a way to disable the status lights. Will there be a big difference between a 12500H and a 13700H in games? It's going to really depend a lot on the resolution and the game you're playing. But I got to imagine in most games you're going to not run into too much bottlenecking and QHD, but at full HD, I mean, I'm guessing there'll be a difference in games like CSGO and some of these other games. But basically, if you're buying a 12500H, you're probably only shooting for 144 hertz full HD gameplay anyway. And both of those processors should be able to get to that frame rate in esports titles pretty easily. So you can probably save your money. If you're trying to shoot for 240 frames per second gameplay, then I would probably lean towards upgrading the processor to the i7-13700H. But again, need to do actual testing to verify that claim that it's going to make a difference. So that's just my guess right now. What do you think will be the performance difference between a 4080 versus a 4090? Werner Dreyer, we've already seen a lot of benchmarks between those of those GPUs. So for example, a RTX 4080 gets around 18 and a half or 18-ish thousand in Timespy, and a RTX 4090 gets between 21,000 to 23,000. So that's about a 3 to 4, maybe 5,000 gap in Timespy. Probably like 3 to 4,000 gap in Timespy. So that doesn't necessarily always translate to actual in-game benchmark performance. I'm sure we'll have more tests directly comparing the 4080 and 4090 soon. But it should be around a 25% gap between the two. But it's going to depend on your resolution, what game you're playing. It's gonna vary probably between 20 and 30% performance difference between the 4080 and 4090. Okay, so we got Timespy installed now. We've got our Armory crate up to date. I would really love it if GeForce Experience had an update for us as well. Flat Stick Production says there's a 20% gain between a 4080 and a 4090. I think that's going to be pretty close, but again, it's going to vary depending on the game quite a bit. All right, I got to do another login here. right, we're logged in. Hey, I just bought a new PC and this weird chemical or plastic smell is coming out of it. Dude, that sucks. I'm so sorry about that. I'm not your technical support guy. I'd recommend contacting the store you bought it from or the manufacturer who sent it to you. It might just be if the smell continues, right? If the laptop or computer or PC is working fine long term, I wouldn't probably worry about it if it's just an initial like boot up smell or something. You know, it might just be like the dust being burned off the components or whatever, you know, as things heat up. But in general, I wouldn't worry too much about that. Oh, I have to verify the email login. There we go. Oh, wait. Did I have to do a double verification? Okay. Voila. Now we're going to download the latest driver as well here. All right. G18 as an Asus is, I believe you're asking if it's an 18-inch laptop. Yes. This is an 18-inch monster machine. Raw God asks, Gizmo, longtime subscriber here. Love the vids, man. How do you think this Strix matches up against the 16-inch similarly equipped Alienware? Which one of the Alienwares? Are you talking about the Alienware M16? If you're talking about the M16, I think this thing is a great competitor against the M16. The M16 has 4 M.2 slots. That's a big advantage. And the M16 has better ports. But this one has a much better display, and it's a little bit cheaper. So overall, I think more people are going to want to get a better display than have a few more ports, but that's going to depend on the user. That's my brief summary between the Strix G18 and the Alienware M18 or M16, I guess you might say. Did you turn on turbo mode? We have not turned on turbo mode, but we are going to do that. We're in turbo mode now. I can barely hear the fans winding up just a little bit more than they were in performance mode. In performance mode, I basically could not hear them at all. It was pretty much completely quiet. 13700 versus a 13980HX is barely any different. That's going to be true in some games, but in terms of raw CPU performance, it's a massive difference because the 13980HX, I think, has 2 more performance cores and 8 or 10 more E-cores. So I think in total 12 more cores, I think. That's off the top of my head. But it might also, depends on if you're talking about the 13700HX or the 13700H. I think those have different core counts. But anyway, the 13980HX that's in this laptop is the highest end silicon that Intel is offering this year. So I'm expecting the top of the performance stack and top of the line performance in all kinds of games, productivity applications, especially if they can take advantage of lots and lots of threads, because there are now 32 threads, 24 cores in this laptop right here. It's insane. Are you on 60 hertz refresh rate or 240? I'm on 240. I can tell just by looking at the mouse. Do you think getting a G18 and a good monitor will be worth it rather than a SCAR 18? Not a bad idea. Yeah, you could go with some, you could get like a crazy monitor like this one. This one cost me $900. And then you can hook that up with this Strix G18 with like a Thunderbolt 4 or USB-C connection. Oh God, it's a Threadripper in a laptop. Yeah, basically. The i9 will be great for graphic design work. Yeah, it'll be great for video editing, graphic design work, 3D animation, um, complex like database stuff that can use lots of threads. I'm not sure how often that happens, but video games that can use lots of threads. Not very many games are super optimized for that many threads, but it's going to keep getting better and better as we go along. All right, so we've got our latest NVIDIA driver. We've got our latest information from our latest installed stuff from Asus. Let's check our BIOS. BIOS version is 3.5. Let me check. Oop. I don't know that Asus probably doesn't have G18. I doubt there's a BIOS update available yet on this, but we might as well just check. Which one is this? I'm not sure which one it is. We keep, for some reason, weird. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and just go with a restart for right now. The mouse was kind of moving on its own, which is a little bit different. But I just want to make sure that there's any updates that Windows are wanting to do. I'm going to let that happen. Mr. Giz, what are your thoughts on the Asus M16 2023? I think it's a great laptop, but it's not as high a performance as something like the Strix G16 or Scar 16. The TDP is going to be lower. The performance is going to be lower. It's not going to be as high a performance. It's only 140 watt rated. We don't know what the actual thermals will be in something like Timespy or actual gameplay, but it's going to be less performance, and it's likely to cost just as much or more than a Scar 16. Probably going to be about the price of a Scar 16. Maybe a little bit less than a little bit. It's going to be probably priced between a Strix G16 and a Scar 16. So we don't really have that information for sure yet, but because they have not released that information yet on the Zephyrus M16. We just know the performance numbers that Asus is claiming, and Asus is usually really good about being accurate on those numbers. So we're going to make sure that we're in turbo mode. We just did a fresh restart, so we know nothing is running in the background. We're going to open HW Info. Sir Gizmo, your site is bricked. What do you mean, sir? Let me check what you mean. It seems to be working just fine for me. Are you talking about my main Gizmo Slip Tech site? I was trying to get verification on that. Don't worry about that. That's just I'm trying to get set up for a affiliate program that I have to verify that I own the website. So if that's what you're talking about. M16 isn't good. I mean, it'll be good for a portable machine, but it's just not going to be as good, you know? All right, so we have HW Info. This is a very recent version of HW Info. It's not the latest version, but I think it's gonna reading all of the effective core clocks. It's showing our temperatures. So this is going to be good for analyzing the CPU performance. Are we ready to see this thing in action? Let's see here. We get to do advanced benchmark. Minimum duration test is off. Here we go. Cinebench R23. And we are in turbo mode. Just verifying. I know I set this in turbo mode, but I just want to make sure. We are in turbo mode. Okay. And I'm going to make sure all of the exhausts have nothing blocking the airflow or anything. Very good. Wow, the fans have not spun up at all yet. Okay, the fans are just starting. The CPU package power, where are we at? We're at 155 watts on the package power. We got 31,000 for our first score. 30,892. Almost 31,000 for our first score. Let's run it again. We're pulling 177 watts there, 165 watts. Oh, man. I'm going to turn down the brightness on the display so it's easier for you guys to see this. Can you guys see the display a little better now? So we got 30,800 that time. Let's just stay focused on the Cinebench R23 window. It can score just a hair better sometimes when you focus on it. Is this upgradable to a 2 plus 2 terabyte? No, we have 2 M.2 slots, so you should be able to add a second one if you want 4 total. Yep. Did it already hit TJ max? Yeah, it hit the thermal limit, but the fans weren't spinning up because we were in automatic fan mode. So we got 31,342 on that run. Pretty insane. Yeah, I'm going to switch it to manual mode with max fans here soon. So that'll give us the more accurate temperature rating for like a long-term thermal load. Like if you were to render a video for 20 minutes or some kind of animation or something, it'll be a lot more accurate that way. But we're doing turbo mode for now to see what kind of performance we can get out of it. 31,294. So we got 31.3 twice in a row. Let's go ahead and switch it over to manual fan mode. Okay, so manual fan mode, we're just going to set this up to maximum fans. Our CPU, we're going to set to maximum possible power limits for our PL1, PL2. And notice that it's showing right here. I think you can see that, right? It's showing that it's a 175 for PL2, 140 for the PL1, which is our long power limit. And our base clock offset, this applies a slight offset, a slight overclock to the CPU and GPU. We also have a thermal target. We can say, hey, keep it at XYZ temperature for us. And don't let it go too hot. I like that. That's new. That's new in the software since I last used this. Cool. So we're just going to set everything up to maximum. Boom. Boom. Okay. So everything is set to max fans now. Waiting for the fans to ramp up. It's taking a little while. Okay. Listening to the fans right now. Surprisingly quiet. I'm a little surprised at how quiet max fans are. Interesting. Okay, so let's try running a few tests now with maximum fans on. And we'll see our temperatures under maximum load. So right now we're pulling 170 watts of power, 159. You can see the package power right there in the highlighted column. 167. So it's going all the way up to 170 pretty consistently. We got 31,000 on that run. Our temperatures, let me go ahead and reset it so we get our maximum temperatures when we're under more of a continuous load. Why don't I just set this to a 10-minute test and we can... Stop. Go to a 10-minute test. Start. All right, so we're on a 10-minute test now. That way it won't stop. We're going to be able to see our continuous temperatures this way. It's going to be a lot more accurate and consistent. And mimic very closely to what like a video rendering load is going to be like. So we have reached some thermal throttling. Let's check out our core speeds. Our core clocks, our 8 performance cores, are doing 4.1 gigahertz, 4.3, 4.1, 4.2, 4.3, 4.1, 4.2. You can see the averages right here in the far right column. And those ones are hitting about 4.18, 4.19, 4.2 on this core. And then our efficiency cores are reaching 3.3, 3.4 gigahertz approximately for most of them. I'm seeing 3.3, 3.3, 3.3, 3.4, 3.3, 3.4, 3.3. So just an incredible amount of crunching performance power here. So let's take a look at our temperatures zoomed in on each of the cores now. So right now, we're not thermal throttling on any of the cores. Did you guys notice that? We're at 80 degrees. Nothing is above 90 degrees on anything on the CPU. That's insane, right? I mean, that's really, really impressive that it's capable of keeping this thing so cool. And it should be throttling down to 140 watts. Yeah, so now you can see that our wattage here is at 133, 143. Our average is 146 since we started the test 2 minutes ago. These are excellent temperatures and very sustainable over the long haul. Like, you could render this thing nonstop 24/7 and be pretty confident that you're not going to be thermal throttling on your CPU. You're going to be power limit throttling at 140 watts of power. And it's going to be adequately cooled, at least if you're in manual max fans mode. So the Alienware M18 does have a 4-fan design. I don't know if it's actually a better thermal cooling solution or not yet. We need to actually test it and find out. But I like what Asus has done for the thermal cooling. They clearly could raise the power limit above 140 with these maximum fans, and our temperatures could still probably be under 90. Now, keep in mind, this is not undervolted yet, and you can undervolt this processor to boost temperature or to lower temperatures and increase performance. So there's also that. Chloe says the motherboard does not support 5600. I don't know yet if it does or not. I'm waiting to hear a response from Sasha at Asus to see. He would know if they're going. I know they're not supporting 5600 out of the box, but they may support it through a user upgradability standpoint later on down the line. I don't know. You should check the undervolting in the BIOS. You can undervolt in the BIOS. Would you guys like to see that? Would you guys like me to try to undervolt it in the BIOS? I'm curious if that's something that you guys would care to see or not. They don't let you do a big undervolt. I think it's only 30 millivolts, which is pretty tiny. I used to do on average like 80 to 100 millivolts a few years ago, but then they started locking down the undervolting, and now it's like more limited. So Flatstick says Timespy really quick. Okay, let's try to do I agree. We should do probably do a Timespy before, but maybe we should do an Undervolt because it's kind of like everything related to the CPU in one area, and then we do the Timespy, and the Timespy would also be undervolted then too. So, I mean, there's no guarantee that a 30 millivolt undervolt will take on the CPU, but it probably will take, and it probably won't cause any problems at all. So looking at our clock speeds now that it's been running for a while, the performance cores have dropped to 4 gigahertz approximately. E-cores have dropped to 3.3 gigahertz across all of the E-cores pretty much. And our average temperature is about 81 degrees. Our performance core temperature is about 85, but our E-core temperatures are like 77, 79, so it's kind of balancing out the P-cores. The overall CPU package power is 88 degrees. So that's like the hottest part is 88. That's impressive. It's super impressive. It's really great thermals, and and this is without undervolting too. So that's another thing. Like, it's gonna have lower temperatures and potentially higher clock speeds when you undervolt. So now I want to make sure that you guys know that this 10-minute Cinebench R23 test is not going to be like the final benchmark that I'm using, because when I do my final Cinebench R23 test, I'm going to probably use, I'm going to try to use it without HW info over the display. I think. I got to look at how I've been testing it in the past. Maybe I've been doing it this way with this HW info window over top of it, but this, because it has to calculate all these numbers and track everything every like second, it does reduce your Cinebench R23 score by just a little bit, like a few, maybe like 1 or 2%, maybe 5% at most, but usually like 1 or 2%. So just keep that in mind. It's kind of like a caveat I give with this Cinebench R23 score that we're about to get here in a couple minutes. Which one would I choose between a Scar 18 and the Legion 7i Pro? Those are two very different laptops. The Scar 18 has a much better display, a better processor, I believe, and it's an 18-inch display. I'm pretty sure I would go with Scar 18 between those two now. The Legion Pro 7i is going to be cheaper, though. So from a bang from the buck perspective, that may be the better one to go with. But the display is really not as good. The ports on it should be better, though, if ports matter to you. There's a quick little comparison between those two. What would you choose between the Scar 18 and the GT77, considering the €1,300 Euro price difference in the UK? So the GT77 and Scar 18. The GT77 is going to be noticeably higher performance machine. We've had our Timespy come out now for the GT77 being over 23,000 on the highest test that we've seen so far, and the Scar 18 was right around 21,000. So, I mean, that's a significant difference, like 8% or so difference between the two. I don't know if the tests were done identically, though, because we don't know if like the Scar 18 was tested in max performance mode and stuff like that. So maybe there's ways to boost the performance of the Scar 18 in these testing. But initial testing shows the Scar 18 is a little bit behind the GT77. That said, I do prefer the 240 Hz QHD display over the GT77's 4K 144 Hz display for esports myself. The display quality is definitely better in general usage for the GT77, though, because it's a higher resolution and it's a much brighter mini LED display. So, do you recommend using the manual mode instead of turbo for video rendering? I'm a graphic designer. So, the main thing about manual mode is you can set it so that it's max fans all the time like I did, or you can have it tailored. you can tailor the curve of the fan to go up and down with the temperature of the laptop. So that way the fans are really, really quiet at idle, get up a little bit louder at medium, and then just go full blast when anytime the temperature starts rising. That's probably how I would set up the fan curve, because the performance in manual mode should be the highest theoretical, except in some gaming scenarios where turbo is actually going to be a little better. We'll have to see. We need to do testing, but you can use turbo if you don't want to mess with fan curves. You can use manual if you understand fan curves. And overall, the difference in performance is going to be very small between them. It's mainly depending on how you want to manage your fan noise. So, someone said that the GT77 is noisy. Yes, if you set it to maximum fans, the GT77 is going to be very noisy, and so will the Scar 18. They're both going to be very noisy. Okay, so our Cinebench R23 score with HW info open, 29,819 for our 10-minute test. Super impressive for a 10-minute test. That is outperforming that's outperforming every single other laptop in this price segment. You're gonna have to spend a lot more money to be able to compete with this Cinebench R23 score for sure. Okay, so let's go ahead and try getting into the BIOS now and see if we can do an undervolt. I believe we need to press F2. Might have to press like F12 or F8. I wish they would be more standardized for loading into the BIOS. I'm going to try F2 to start with. Highland says, do not undervolt in the BIOS. I don't think we got... Oh, we did. Okay. So in the bottom right, I clicked on the advanced mode. That gives me the advanced option here. Let's see here. Do not undervolt in BIOS if you get a Windows update and starts flashing the BIOS, it will kill it. So I'm trying to check. So Highland ER says, don't undervolt on BIOS. If you get a Windows update and starts flashing the BIOS, it will kill it. Why would it kill it? I killed 3 M16s like that. Okay, well, we're going to do this. If we kill it, it goes back to Best Buy. Okay. So we can change the undervolt by up to -30. We want to set it to minus. We want to set it to 30. Are we on? We are in BIOS version 301. CL says 301 is the latest BIOS version at the moment. Mario 97, I don't believe you can change it from Intel XTU. Asus has locked it down, so you have to do it through the BIOS. That's my understanding. If we break it, it'll be great for the live stream. I don't think we're going to break it. I think we'll be okay. So you want to hit core voltage enabled, offset 30, set to minus. I believe that should all be correct now. If it's not, this live stream will be a quick one. Here we go. I hit save. It instantly turned off. I was not expecting it to instantly turn off. My heart stopped there for a second. It was like, oh boy. Did I just kill it? Usually it's more of a warning. It's like save, and then you're like, yes, save, and then you also have to click exit and save and restart or something. Usually, we're back in Windows. Look at that. All right, let's see if we can confirm with HW info that the Undervolt took successfully. All right. Looking for that voltage offset minus 30. You guys can see that, right? Voltage offset minus 30. Looking good. I wish we had more of a voltage offset we could send, but Highland ERC sends me $10 super chat. It says thanks. Well, we're testing it. Please try to go further using throttle stop. Throttle stop, I don't think will be functional with the new generation of CPUs. They almost always takes an update to be able to access those new CPUs. So I would anticipate that not working. And I don't think it's worth using the live stream's time. So you say, Shadow says, try minus 150. That would be a very severe undervolt, but Asus does not let you go with that big of an undervolt. So that's just not even an option. The maximum in the BIOS is minus 30 millivolts. I have had a couple laptops in the past that could go to 150, but that is rare high quality silicon to go that low of an undervolt. Okay, so let's see if we're stable at minus 30. Are we stable? Our temperatures so far have been great. Our package power pulling up to 170. 31,868. That's a new record for the laptop after the undervolt. Pretty freaking sweet. Let's try it again. Let's see what happens. So, 32,258. Whoo! Okay, so my main camera has a battery, and I have to swap the battery every couple hours of filming. That's why it went out. So, okay, 32,258. That's fantastic. That's really, really great. I'm honestly, I'm really impressed right now. I'm tempted to do a full 10-minute test. I'll have a full 10-minute test with undervolting to compare for the main review. Let's not do that right now. Let's do a 10-minute test just to see what kind of CPU clock speed and temperatures we get over at least a couple minutes of being ran, you know? And so let's pull up HW info, and we're not going to try to actually see the score on this one. We just want to see the thermals and clock speed. Okay. Oh, crap. Wait. Okay, yeah, you guys should have audio now. Yeah, all right. Good, good. Someone is saying they don't have audio. He must be a few minutes behind in the live stream or something. What's 33,000 with a desktop CPU? Like my i9-13980HX in the CyberPower behind me is, I think, 35,000. So, and that's with like, needs to be repasted or something because it was thermal throttling. It's like a crappy i9-13980HX desktop CPU equivalent. Or maybe whatever the step below that is. All right, so our power limit, we're actually pulling 165 watts. I'm surprised. We've been running now for a minute and a half, and we're still pulling more than 140 watts. I don't think it should be doing that. It's supposed to clock down below 140 as soon as like 30 to 50 seconds after we start rendering. Does this have liquid metal and a vapor chamber? This has liquid metal. Liquid metal conductanaut extreme, which is even better than your typical liquid metal. It's like pure gallium. Shaq says, so I missed the unboxing, darn. Well, you can always go back and rewatch, my friend. It's the beauty of a recorded live stream. Our CPU package power is now at 140. It's now come down to the correct wattage. I was starting to worry that it's not going to come down. But it took a couple minutes for it to come down. That's impressive, actually. Like the fact that it could stay above 140 for so long. All right, now our actual CPU speeds with an undervolt, our averages are higher than they were before, but not by too much. I don't know, you have to give it the full 10 minutes, but it's like 0.15 gigahertz higher with the undervolt, maybe 0.1 gigahertz higher. Because we were like just barely above 4, or like 4.1 on the P cores, and now we're at 4.2. So, all right. It's time for Timespy. Pretty awesome results, though. I'm very happy with those results. We need to set up our afterburner. We might need to download a new afterburner. We'll find out. I just got a notification. Thunder Thighs is available for streaming on my main computer. I was like, what's that? It's a Steam notification. Tech with Sean says, OC boards run Intel chips out of spec by default all the time. Does this support memory and CPU OC and stuff? This does not support CPU overclocking. It is locked down in the BIOS. I did confirm that with Asus. Maybe if there's a way to break in, you might be able to do something. But currently, out of the box, there should be no Intel XTU support for extending the power limits, stuff like that, which is kind of a shame because you could, like, you know, slap a laptop cooler underneath it and then set fans to maximum Going to a chilled, air-conditioned room and just set benchmarking records. That'd be pretty sweet. But nope, not an option as far as I know. What's the RAM speed? It's 4,800. See you later, Chads. Awesome stream. Glad you are back. Thanks, Highland, for stopping by, and thanks so much for the super chat, dude. That really, I appreciate it. It takes a lot of work setting up and running these streams, editing them, putting out all this content. So your donation is certainly very much appreciated. Cheyenne Abasi says, yo, do the nits test of the laptop. Good idea. I should do that too. We're going to do Timespy first, though, for sure. All right. And while we're getting this set up, I am going to install Hogwarts. Going to get that going in the background here. Because I also want... That's the game we're going to test today, because I spent money to buy that deluxe edition so we could play it. So that's what we're going to try to do. So GPU 1 is the one we want. We're going to look at the temperature, usage. Look at the VRAM usage, core clock, power, temp limit, power limit, voltage limit, no load limit. I mean, plus there was a lot of people that said they want to see Hogwarts anyway, so. But don't worry, there'll be a ton of benchmarks of this laptop coming up very soon. I'll do another live stream with all of the benchmarks. So if I'm not doing the game you want to see, you'll see all of those games coming up soon. Okay. All right. That's good. And then this, we're going to want to set to 16. 500. All right. Start with Windows. Then we're going to start that with Windows. All right. Beautiful. We're going to pause Hogwarts Legacy. Let's run Timespy. Launch. Yeah, this does have G-Sync. Oh, we're currently in Optimus mode. We switched to NVIDIA GPU. Current display mode switched to NVIDIA GPU only mode. Can you guys see that? In the bottom right, it's giving me notifications when it switches. Oh, that's beautiful. I love that it's giving you, it's so important for the users to know what GPU is being used. And so I love that it's there. So we're currently set up to, wait, I just switched back to Optimus mode. It keeps switching on us, guys. I want it to not, I want to kind of have manual control over it. I don't want it to not be. So right now it's set to automatic. And I'm going to set it to NVIDIA GPU only mode. So you can see right here. NVIDIA GPU only mode, apply. There. Now I don't have to worry about that. And if I want to switch it for battery life, I can just go in there and manually switch it. Timespy. Run. Chloe says, can you disable Optimus and use dedicated? That's what I just did in the NVIDIA settings that I just showed you. Is this stronger than the Razer Blade 18? We don't know yet. We don't have enough detailed benchmarks to be able to conclusively say it's stronger. They're going to be in the very similar ballpark in terms of performance. This one might be a little better. The Blade 18 might be a little better, but they're going to be within 10% of each other for sure. So. Gizmo, you can put go to a 3D settings and put an icon tray switch to be able to switch GPUs. That way you never have to open NVIDIA control panel again each time. Nice, that's good. All right, chat. Let me know in the chat, what do you think this laptop is going to get in Timespy? First ever Strix G18 RTX 4080 Timespy that I know of. Wait, is this Timespy? Oh yeah, this is Timespy. Okay. I was like, this is Firestrike. What is this? It's been too long. Wow, we got nice dramatic music. Oh, this is the intro demo. That's why it's different. Okay, I gotta turn off the intro demo. I'm like, this is different. All right, benchmarks, Timespy, don't include demo run. There we go. Tech with Sean's predicting 19420. 18K CPU, 19K GPU. Isn't the M16 490 score 1950? How loud are the fans right now, and what mode is it on? If I were to guess, purely guessing, I'm guessing 54 decibels of fan noise, maybe 55. And because I've heard a lot of laptops and measured them, and that's what about sounds right. I don't know. And that I have to measure it though. And the fan mode is manual fans, maximum fans right now. I'm thinking this is going to be, my prediction for Timespy is going to be high 18,000s. Maybe 19,000. So I'm going to go 18,750. Okay, so you can see right here at the top, we're pulling 176 watts of power above the 175 limit. That's awesome to see. That's fantastic, okay? It was really annoying to me when I looked at the Blade 16 and I saw that it was only pulling like 165 watts of power in the notebook check review. I don't know exactly how they tested it. Maybe it wasn't max fan mode. I don't know. It wasn't hitting the full 175 though, which it should. It should have. If Razer's going to advertise that it can go to 175, it should actually go to 175 in a benchmark like Timespy. So anyway, pulling 140 FPS right now in Timespy. That's insane. That's really incredible. You guys can't see the power draw? Is it too zoomed in? All right, I've zoomed it out. Cheyenne says 187060. You just went 10 above me, didn't you? No way this beats the Asus M16 4090 score of 1950. Okay, so you can see right here, 174. It was pulling 176 there at the beginning. There is 176. So it's going above 175 for short periods of time, but it's averaging well above 170. Rock solid. And notice the GPU temperature is also only 74 degrees when pulling these levels of wattages. Insane. That is so good. Great job, Asus. Arctic Arua. I am guessing the fans are 54 decibels and it's max fan mode. But I need to actually have a decibel meter. You guys still don't see it? Let me check stream. Yeah, you guys can see it now. On my screen, you can see it. If you can't see it, maybe you're zoomed in too much on the stream. It got 30K easy. Room temperature is right around 73 degrees. I don't know the exact room temperature right now. CPU wattage is not wasn't an option in MSI Afterburner. I have to pull that up in HW info and add that to the overlay. Dun dun dun! Graphics score 19,031. So 19,031 for the graphics score. CPU score was 15,880. That's impressive. That's very impressive. Let's try running it in turbo mode and seeing if we get any different performance. I don't think we will, but might as well check, right? So I'm going to go ahead and just... I'm going to snip this real quick for our first 4080 run. That's impressive. All right, let's try again. We are in turbo fan mode now, y'all. So we're ready to run it back. Shaya asks, is that bad? No, that is exceptionally good. So in the past, an RTX 3080 Ti would get about 13,400 or so, give or take a few hundred points, as the best possible score. And the fact that this is a $2,500 laptop and we're pushing way beyond it, that just is an incredible performance uplift for the money compared to the last generation 3080 Ti's. That said, those laptops are getting to get cheaper and cheaper because these are out now. So we'll have to actually keep analyzing the price to performance ratios between RTX 3000 and 4000 to see which ones are actually going to be the best bang for the buck for the end users. Flatstick Productions, thanks so much for the $10 donation, man. It does help. It does help me pay the bills. Thank you so much. Better luck next time. Okay, so notice the fans are super quiet now. We're in turbo mode. The fans are almost inaudible, but I think I'm hearing some coil whine. I think. So that's interesting that the laptop's now so quiet that you can hear the coil whine. Like, I'm not hearing the fans at all. And it's 170 watts. And we're only 78 degrees on the temperature on the GPU. What? How? I mean, I'm guessing it's going to keep going up on the fan noise because we're now hitting 80 degrees on the GPU. So the fans are going to keep getting louder and louder. Destroyed the fans already. No. I hope not. No, these fans should last for many hundreds of hours of running at max fans. So I wouldn't expect that. But new GPU drivers released today. Did you install them? Yeah, we updated to the latest drivers. So in turbo mode, it is super impressive the level of performance we're getting with very moderate fan noise. Like, you don't need to be ramping up these fans to insane levels to have decent temperatures. Right now we're below 80 degrees on the temperature. We're not saturated yet, but I would say the fan noise is only probably like 50 decibels if I were to guess right now. Maybe 51, somewhere in that range. It's very bearable fan noise. And we're still pulling such crazy wattages on the GPU. We are still undervolted, but this is a GPU-focused test. There's only one segment of the CPU, and that test is coming up here in a moment, but the CPU undervolt shouldn't affect the Timespy graphics score at all anyway. Can't hear fans when gaming with a headset anyway. Yeah, that's true, Britt. Abroad in the Philippines. How is life in the Philippines, man? I visited Philippines a couple years ago. It's pretty sweet. Bahadir asks, I've had the Asus Strix G17 with Ryzen 9 5900HX and 3060 for close to 1.5 years now, and the fans have not had a single problem, and the performance is just as good as the first day. That's exactly been my experience as well. Okay, so turbo mode versus regular mode. You can see the scores right here. So manual fan mode got 18,480 with 1931 on the graphics score. Turbo mode got lower score by 220 points approximately, with 140 less on the graphics score and 500 less on the CPU score. Can the GPU hit 20K after an overclock? Maybe. If you know how to actually overclock and undervolt at the same time using something like MSI Afterburner, it's a lot trickier than just undervolting a CPU, but you might be able to push another 1,000 points out of it with overclocking and undervolting at the same time on this machine, or by overriding the BIOS to shoot more juice into the GPU, though that's obviously probably going to void your warranty if you run into any issues. All right, so let's get Hogwarts Legacy continuing to download, and we're going to run that game and check out how the performance is. Try a GPU overclock, please. We're not going to do that in this video. If I do any GPU overclocking, I will want to have tested it probably beforehand, because it's a lot more complicated and complex doing a GPU overclock. I've done it before. I've boosted performance a decent amount. I have overwritten a VBIOS on my SCAR 15 a couple years ago. I did a live stream on it. It's certainly risky. It's way riskier than doing an undervolt, and it's not something I would recommend to most people. So we're downloading this thing. It's got a few minutes remaining. Chat, let's talk about the biggest competitors to the Strix G15, the laptops that you will probably be considering most instead of the Strix G15. Okay, so I've got this guy pulled up. Let's go over here. Beautiful. Okay, and just like that. All right. So the first machine that is priced very similarly to the Strix G18 is the Aorus 17H. Okay, so this one I think is still in stock and available to order. It is. So this machine right here, the Aorus 17H, it's like a bit thicker than the 17X. It's not as a premium design. It feels like it's more of the budget version. It's like the Strix version, and the 17X is like the SCAR version for Aorus. You get a different display on this model. So the Aorus 17H comes with an RTX 4080. It costs $200 less than the Strix G18. So you get to save $200, but you're getting a much lower end CPU. You get an i7-13700H. You get the same amount of RAM. You get the same size 1 terabyte SSD. But the big change here is it's a 360 hertz 1920 by 1080p display. So this machine is going to excel and do really well in esports gaming, or for people that don't mind using a lower resolution display. I'm not saying that you should buy this one. I personally would not buy this one because of the lower resolution display. I would want to go for a QHD display. But if you're looking for the cheapest RTX 4080 currently available, this is it. And it's available for ordering and being shipped out like right now. So it's an option, okay? It's an option to consider. I personally would recommend the Strix G18 over that one if it was my money and I was spending it. Let's see here. So another option to consider is the Alienware M16. This is going to be slightly smaller, but right in the same ballpark of specs and CPU performance, GPU performance. The problem with this one is the display is not going to be as bright or as colorful. That's going to be one of the biggest drawbacks for this laptop. And I think we don't know the performance and the temperatures on it, but I don't think they're going to be able to match the G18's temps and performance, but it's probably going to be very close. Like, I'm guessing it's going to be maybe the same performance, but higher temps. I don't know. It could outperform, maybe it's going to do better than I'm thinking. Maybe it'll be just as good. But the big advantage for the M16 is ports. You got way better ports on the M16 than the G18. And you got a full-size SD card slot. I think you have 4 M.2 SSDs as well, so you're going to have way more storage upgradability. But you don't have as bright a display and not as vibrant of a display. But it also costs like $100 more. Okay, so that's kind of like the primary competitors for the Strix G18 right now. I don't think, unless you're willing to spend a good chunk more, you could go for an Aorus 17X. That's an option right now. That's available for ordering. That's got an RTX 4080 and a high-quality QHD 240Hz display. We don't know how bright, but I'm guessing like 350 nits. And this machine, actually it's out of stock now, so it's not in stock. But it's got faster RAM on this machine, a slower processor. But this machine should be also really awesome. We haven't got a review of it yet, but I think this machine will be an excellent performer this year. Oh, and they dumped the price down to $26.99 as well. So they lowered the price. That makes this thing more competitive. I like that Aorus is... I've seen them lower the price twice now on their Aorus lineup. And so I've got to say, I appreciate Aorus recognizing their price to performance ratio and the demand for them being a little lower. So they lowered their price after their initial launch pricing. And they've done that already. That's quick and responsive pricing from Aorus. So I wouldn't be surprised if they drop it another $100 or $300 within 6 months, though, maybe demand will ramp up for these RTX 4080 and 4090 laptops. I don't know. But we'll see. But I wouldn't be surprised if they have sales go on 6 months to 9 months away, especially by Black Friday coming up. I'm anticipating some decent sales on almost all of these laptops, but especially some of the laptops that didn't immediately sell out. That's a good indicator of long-term desirability. But maybe these laptops like the Aorus 17X is going to review better than anticipated, and it's going to become very popular or more popular than anticipated. So let me hop over to chat and see if you guys have any questions. Okay, Ed says, Asus ROG Strix Scar 16 QHD 240Hz 13th Gen i9-13900 RTX 4080 gaming laptop. Is this the same you're doing, but that's just smaller? It's very similar, but the Scar series is a bit different. So the Scar series has RGB along the back. The Scar series has a light up logo. The Scar series has an exchangeable side plate to the laptop, so you can change it from like silver or clear or black. The Scar series has brighter LED, more vibrant RGB lighting, and the Scar series offers up to an RTX 4090. The Strix series only goes up to 4080. So there's quite a few differences, but if you want the top of the line, you got to go with the Scar because you can't get the 4090 in the Strix. Are there any Strix G18s available? Not that I have been able to find. They currently are all sold out as far as I know. Jared, I will let you download this laptop, man. I'm going to upload the picture of it as an NFT, and you can download that. Only $24.99 for an NFT picture of the Strix G18, man. It's a steal. Jared, you wouldn't download a car, would you? Oh, well. The Legion Pro 7i for 3200 is good with a 4090. I agree. That is a great bang for the buck for the 4090. It's the best, lowest priced RTX 4090 that we've seen so far. And but I would say the 4080 variant is not as good a value as the Strix G18 because I think it's like $2,800 for the. Let me pull it up. Give you the exact numbers. So interesting. I typed the wrong thing. Let's go. There we go. All right. So yeah, the RTX 4080 has the Legion Pro 7i has an i9-13980HX, so a lower end processor than the Strix. It also has 32 gigs of RAM, which is an upgrade from the Strix. And then it has a lower quality, lower color gamut QHD 240 Hz 500 nits display. So it's just as bright, but it's not as colorful. Of course, that is something that we need to measure still. We haven't measured it. I'm going to go ahead and bust out my display measuring tool, and we can check the brightness of the Strix G18, at least the raw brightness, and in the center, and we'll see how bright this sucker is. All right. So Hogwarts is downloading. It says 4 minutes left. I don't know if we'll be able to in time, but whatever. It's okay. All right. So this is my this is actually my buddy's, but he lets me use it. He's let me use it for a few years now. The Spyder Elite display calibrator and nits, brightness, color gamut checker. So we're gonna get this sucker installed. Beautiful. Have I tried the Blade 16 or 18? I have not. I've got both of them on order. Both of them were supposed to be shipped today. I have not gotten any notifications that they were shipped. Nope, I still have not gotten notifications that they were shipped. I hope they ship soon. But I'm sure I'll be busy with this Strix G18 as well. Any news on availability of the Duo 16? I have not seen the Duo 16 for sale anywhere yet. I haven't checked the Asus store recently. That's where I would check. Takes a little while for the Spyder Elite drivers to install, so. All right. It's not detecting the Spyder Elite. Oh, maybe it is now. Okay, we gotta find. You have to register it every time you install this thing with the key. It's pretty silly. Okay, here it is. So right now I'm just getting this set up, and then we can run the screen test. Activation is successful. Cool. All right, so let me go ahead and get this set up, the camera set up here. Looks like I got to change the battery on the secondary camera. Okay, and we see everything. So this is the first time I think I've ever tried doing a brightness test on one of these live streams, but I might start incorporating it into my live unboxing if you guys like seeing this kind of information. W asks, how is the keyboard? I find the keyboard on my M16 to be meh. All right, let me do it, because you gave a super chat. Thank you so much for the $5 super chat. That does help me out. So this is a keyboard test. I do like this keyboard feel quite a bit. So it's the same keyboard as far as I can tell from the Strix G17 from a couple of years ago. And I really like that keyboard, and I still like this keyboard. It's got a great feel, decent travel. It's not clicky, it's quiet, but it still has a nice tactile response when you press the keys. So that's my response right now. So all right. So we're just going to do the color gamut and the brightness and contrast tests. So for this, I need to lean the screen back a bit. All right, so the Spyder 5 has to remain completely flushed to the screen in the appropriate spot. And screen display brightness is at the maximum that it can be at. That is extremely red. There we go. W with the $10 super chat. Thanks so much, man. I appreciate that. I really do. Thank you. All right. The funny thing is the Legion 7 had a mini LED screen for China only. Why didn't they bring it for this generation of laptops? That's so true. So right now we're testing the brightness at 0%. It's going to basically give us the nits brightness range of the display, how dark it can get, and then how bright it can get. Mr. Giz, you have a guest. Yeah, I know. Jared stops by my live streams pretty often, and I appreciate him. So I appreciate all his reviews and everything he puts out. He does a good job. Now, if you guys are enjoying the live stream, be sure to give the channel a subscribe. And if you want to see, especially if you want to see all the live benchmarks for the Strix G18 coming up here soon, I believe I'll probably live stream the benchmarks tomorrow. So be sure to stop by again and hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on the notification. Okay, the display is set to 100% brightness. Let's see what we get. All right. So one thing I've noticed with my Spyder 5 is that it never quite reaches the rated specifications of the displays. So keep that in mind. But my rating so far is 99% sRGB, 89% Adobe RGB, 88% of P3 color gamut. And then for brightness and contrast, we've got 24 nits brightness, very, very dim on the lowest setting, 76 on 25%, 50% is 152 nits brightness, 75% gets to 316, and at 100% brightness, it is pushing the full 494 nits brightness, or basically 800. And for contrast ratio, it's 850 to 1. So I'll just kind of zoom in so stream can see those numbers a little bit easier. But overall, really impressed with the results. That's some impressive. That's an impressive display, and basically, in my opinion, matches the specifications. Because, like I said, the Spyder 5 Elite, I don't think it measures the color gamut quite perfect, and it probably is actually basically 100% P3 color gamut, but not according to the sensor that I have. But maybe there are more expensive color checking tools, or maybe this display could be calibrated better. I don't know exactly why we're not getting the 100%, but I would say that it still is probably accurate to say it's 100% P3 color gamut. I want to do more training on understanding the screen technology behind checking the displays. It's one area as a reviewer I think I can grow in and continue improving in, and potentially buy a better latency response tool to measure click to pixel latency, and then also get a better color gamut, brightness, nits checker tool. It's just I need to dive into it and do more investigation to understanding how it works and which thing I need to buy, because that Spyder 5 Elite tool is like 500, 600 bucks by itself. Anyway, so it's time for Hogwarts. You know what that means? Hold on, I'll be right back. Wingardium Benchmarker. Okay, I've been thinking. So these are my Ravenclaw robes, all right? I've been wanting to show these off on a live stream at some point. Okay, and my toothbrush wand. Okay, so let's get Hogwarts going. How long have you been waiting to bust that out? About 4 years since I bought it, at least. What, 4 or 5 years? I don't know. It's been a long time. Talk about realistic graphics. Hey, we're getting into the game, all right? And we're not just going to play it. We're freaking getting into it. Time to Ada Kedavra the GPU. Yeah, basically. I moved from Spyder to an X-Rite i1 Display Pro. The Display Cal software gives much more info. Cool. Thanks, Jared, for that bit of info. I'll probably pick one of those up. X-Rite i1. Dun, dun, dun. This is going to get very warm in this robe. So, if you want to see the comparison between, I made a video comparing the performance of the RTX. Well, I made a video showing the performance of the RTX 3080 in Hogwarts Legacy. I released it as a short today. In general gameplay at ultra settings with ray tracing disabled but DLSS on quality, and it's 1600p, so 16 by 10 QHD, which is the same thing we're going to run here. We're going to mimic the same exact settings. Basically, we are getting, depending on the area, 60 to 80 FPS. So we'll find out what we get on this guy, on the 4080. I'm hoping it'll be noticeably better. Okay, so if we want to go to manual mode, we're going to need to do that. We can't press the hotkey for it, which is kind of annoying, but... Okay. Looks like we're being capped at 60 FPS. We're going to have to play with the settings here. So DLSS is set to quality. These are the exact same settings I was using earlier on the 3090. I believe I turned off motion blur though, but I'll need to double check that. All right, so we're on Ultra with ray tracing disabled. That's what I want. If you use ray tracing, it instantly crashes the game. I was very sad to find out. So I'm hoping that they improve that. Holy cow! We're pushing 150 FPS. Let's go ahead and just run an average. So the same areas that I ran through before, you know, where I was doing between 60 and 100 max, like looking in a corner or something. But these areas with a 3080, we're only doing like 70, like around 70 to 80, 65. It was... I think it averaged 68 for this run to run right here. So this area where I'm about to show you. So it loads through that. Like it loads the next area when you go up to a door in Hogwarts. Will you change the camera? So we changed. Yeah, there you guys go. I'm so sorry. Boom. You can see. There we are. Sorry about that. Here is the test. So let me show you the run through again. There's some noticeable stuttering in this game still. Primarily when you're loading into new areas. Because it has to load in all these NPCs and the lighting and the environments and everything. So the 1% lows are going to be a bit wonky when you're doing a test moving from area to area. All right. Okay, so here we are. We're going to run over through this area. And this is basically the exact same place I ran with my Legion 7i, which averaged 68 FPS on this run. And now we're doing 150 FPS from that spot to here. That was the run that I did on my 3080. 60, and this is just rasterization with DLSS combined. 68 to, what was that, 160? It's a 2.5 times increase. How is that possible? Does this have frame generation built into Hogwarts? Does Hogwarts support frame generation? It is. So there is frame generation. That's why the performance is so good. Let's turn frame generation off. I was like, that is an insane number. That was like absolutely crazy. Want to see the power of the GPU. Why is the hair color blue? Because it's my character. Of course, my favorite hair color is blue, so it's gonna be that much. Okay, so this is a bit more realistic comparison. Definitely better comparison. So just double checking our settings here. DLSS on quality. Frame generation is off now. So we got like an incredible boost to performance with frame generation activated. Let's see what our boost. Let's check the performance out now. This might be a CPU bound area. There is a lot of NPCs here, so I wouldn't be surprised. So again, my RTX 3080 and the Legion 7 I got 68 FPS in the same run. We got 95. All right. So 95, that is excellent. So let's go ahead and go do like one quest here in Hogwarts, and then we'll, I guess we'll do a final Q&A for the stream. Let's see. I think I went to the wrong direction. Let's go over there. So this is going to direct me over to the classroom. We're definitely getting some dips, some pretty low 1% stuttering is happening as we're moving from area to area, which is a bit annoying. That's just, I think, a nature of the Hogwarts game developers needing to optimize the game better, not because of poor RTX 4080 performance. It could also be a driver issue. I think if you were benchmarking this, you would probably want to stick to one area and region only. Otherwise, you'll end up with artificially low 1% lows. All right. I'm going to start. I just started the benchmark again for this segment. If you change the hair color to pink, it'll increase the FPS by 10. Sure.
Hello, I am Letty. So you are the new student. Have you met Professor Ronan yet?
If you roll through the door, it avoids the stutters. Are you serious?
Shall we begin? Welcome to year 5 of charms. Now, this will be a crucial year in your education
Can you guys
of
hear
the art
this?
of charm work. But I am confident that we will take hold with the passion and rigor requisite of such a challenge. Right, now, everyone, please open your textbooks to page 517. But before we begin, can anyone here tell me the difference between the incantations of the color change and growth charms? Anyone? Anyone? I am afraid it is too late to study now. My, the summer months must have really taken.
I really love the characterization.
Spend your holidays practicing Obliviate on one another.
So I played the game for about 3 hours last night, and I really enjoyed my time in Hogwarts Legacy.
Remember how to perform a basic summoning charm.
It felt like a very authentic Harry Potter universe, but it was just completely different teachers and environments than Harry Potter. So it's like a whole new set of people, and they all are really well done, as far as I can tell so far. And the combat system was fun as well, so.
Only one book will be needed per part.
averaging 116 FPS through this cinematic storytelling. We're learning a new spell, Accio, now.
Accio.
Quabam. So,
It's not bad.
You are a swift learner. I see a lot of potential, but remember, potential is nothing without practice. Keep at it. You might just rival Miss Onai here. Very good, everyone. That's enough of that. Well, as you all seem to have the basics down, and it is an exceptionally lovely day, I was thinking that we might have ourselves a little excursion outside for a spot of fresh air. After me.
okay, so I think I'm going to end it there. Let me try and check chat and see if you guys have any questions. Where's the Korean hot Harry Potter hot girlfriend? Yeah, so anyway, that's going to be the live stream for now. You guys, I'm going to let you ask any questions here for a moment. I'm going to stay here for like 3 minutes and then I'll end the live stream. So, does your rear light work? No, there is no RGB on the back of the laptop or the rear logo on the Strix G18. You hear a vacuum. That is the laptop fans. It is in max fan mode, so yep. Saja Sharma asks, is ray tracing on? No, ray tracing was disabled because it causes the games to crash. Right now, here at Hogwarts is crashing as soon as you have RTX enabled, which sucks. So I'm expecting a driver update or a game update to fix that probably soon. Are all settings on max? Yes, all settings are on max. DLSS is on quality, and there's no frame generation. You can see if I add frame generation back, which if I were to play this game, I would definitely be playing it with frame generation on. As soon as we add frame generation, look at the FPS boost. It like jumps up noticeably. So I'm going to turn the sound all the way up again so you guys can hear it.
That's it. Excellent control there.
There you go. DLS is insane. Yeah, and frame generation is insane too.
But there's certainly no sport in playing without some friendly competition. Miss Onai, would you care to give our
4K or QHD and 15-inch? I would get QHD, especially if it's a good quality display with like higher refresh rate. Do you think the low memory bus has the reason for the 1% low in stutters? I think it has more to do with game optimization than anything else. Will I be reviewing any of the XMG laptops? Yes, I will. I have an XMG Neo 17 right outside there, but I won't be able to do a detailed review on it until they send me a new production unit because this one is no good. They're gonna. I talked about this earlier in the live stream, but basically they are.
Not exactly your typical.
XMG is going to discovered an issue they want to fix before we do any detailed review testing, and they've also delayed sending out the actual production units for now until they fix them on all of the units. They want to make sure they ship a proper product without any major problems with it, and I give them kudos for delaying the product and not shipping a bad product. That's honestly my thoughts. So, how good is the quality of the internal speakers of the G18? It's been said the Scar series has better speakers. I believe that is accurate. I did a speaker test earlier in the live stream, so go back and check that out. I'll have timestamps for the live stream so you can go and check all of the details out on the whole laptop and be able to skip around more easily. But timestamps are currently not available. But soon there will be timestamps on the live stream as soon as I get done with this. And I'll also publish a shorter version of this live stream as a main video. That's my goal. What kind of spatial audio does this have? I am not sure. MSI GE78 looks like a 2012 design laptop. I would disagree. GE78 has a 16:10 aspect ratio display, and I do think the light bar looks a lot better than anything that was out in 2012. Does this laptop have a fingerprint reader or face recognition? I thought it had Windows Hello, but let's check. That's a good question. Yeah, it does not have Windows Hello. I thought it did. Yeah, so it does not have Windows Hello. That is something I need to adjust the score on the Strix G18 down a little bit. I take 10 points off, I believe, for not having Windows Hello in the premium score section. And I'm not sure if I did. Maybe I already did, but I need to double check that. So no Windows Hello on the Strix G18. Vincent says 4080 is beastly as it is, but if going with the unrivaled 13980HX, why not throw a 4090 under that hood too? You can, but only with the SCAR 16 and 18 series. Sorry, man. Yeah, so that's it, guys, for the live stream unboxing of the Strix G18. I am super impressed with this machine overall. I think this laptop is the top value right now still for all laptops with the RTX 4000 series. I think, as far as I can tell, that's it. This is number one. Not that there aren't other laptops that are fantastic deals. Like I think the SCAR 16, which I also have coming in, the Legion Pro 7i is great value. The Alienware M16, also fantastic value. But this one, I think, has the best blend of all of the different features put together. Those are my thoughts. Okay. Anyone that's skipped around in the live stream is like, why is he wearing Harry Potter robes now? I'm sure. So yeah, that's it, guys. I will have another live stream unboxing of the XMG Neo 17, where I'll do a lot of the same stuff as I did in this stream, but I won't be able to do any of the testing. I'll just be doing an overview and detailed hands-on with it. So anyway, and I've also got an Alienware M16 that should be coming my way anytime here as well. So I've got current laptops being shipped to me: SCAR 16, Lenovo Legion Pro 7i with a 4090, Alienware M16, XMG Neo 17, MSI GE78HX, and my goal is to do at least one live stream every day for the next week or two, probably. So be checking back in the early afternoon. That's when I'm going to try to do my live streams, probably like say noon or 1 o'clock every day for right now. And I'll be doing live benchmarking on some of those streams, and then I'll be doing live unboxing for the other parts of those streams. We'll have to see. Is HP even doing anything? They launched an Omen 17. It's on my gaming laptop list sheet, and you can order it right now. I should probably order one, actually, now that I think about it. Yeah, I'm not sure. I've checked the... Yeah. HP is bankrupt. HP, I think, has been struggling to compete, but I don't think they're bankrupt. Anyway, that's it, guys. I'm going to end the stream. The questions keep coming. I thank you so much for all the questions, and thank you so much for interacting and hanging out today. It's been really great. You guys have been great. And thanks, Jared, for stopping by. See you in the next one. Brandon out.